Hello and welcome everybody. A shorter video today. Just want to talk about in response to a question, just how do you store your poker chips? All right, so there are some ideas I have and we're going to step through some of these. For starters, a lot of people, they're just poker chips and they're just going to throw them in racks. Okay, I do that a lot. These are some blue chip company, Garden City $2 chips, real casino chips. I'm just going to throw them in a rack. Nothing about these is really calling for me to keep these in a pristine condition or protect them. You can see a rack of 100 of them here. As far as what kind of racks to get, that's personal preference. I don't overthink it for a lot of things. I just go on Amazon or whatever, just go to my favorite poker websites and just buy whatever kind of rack I need or want and just throw them in here. Like this is a 39 millimeter rack. And then there are different, like very specific widths, as far as like, do you want them to be, some people want no play at all. I kind of like the play because it's easy for me and my friends just to slap them back in here. So I don't mind that for something like this. Again, personal preference. And then we move on into like individual chip cases. So here's one that I get on eBay. These are called Numis holders. Yeah, they're expensive. I put my chips that are popular for my friends and family to look at because it gives them a way to stack them and hold them. Because these, with friends, they're always like, spilling all over everywhere. So sometimes I like having the square little slabs here, and it gives them some information about it so they don't have to ask me all the time, right? And that information to me is valuable. I can just, give a stack of these to my friends and they can just look through them and enjoy them. And they comment on the chip more than, what year was this? Was this the original? Was this, and you're just like, dude, just right here. It says it all. So I really like these Numis holders. They are expensive. I don't necessarily recommend them to collectors, but for somebody like me who is people just call me the poker chip guy. So it's good for me to have stuff like this just because my friends and family who visit like to see. So that's one way to do it. And there is a little rubber, is it rubber or silicone? Whatever. There's a little ring that goes around the outside of this that kind of holds it in place. So it's not actually contacting this hard plastic, which is good. Holds it in place, doesn't rattle around. I like these cases. 39 millimeter Numis case. All right, and I put tape on here because I have a boy who tries to pry everything open, even these, and tries to get to the chips so we can taste them or whatever, which is not recommended. This is, when I buy chips, they come like this a lot of times. They're just stapled in these little plastic coin cases. I don't like storing chips like this, but some people do. Just wanted to show you an option. Like you buy a chip from a coin collectible website, they come like this a lot. Then we have the two 39 millimeter cases. They make, remember, a lot of chips, like for example, classic poker chips. Here's a Roman mold classic poker chip. These are closer to 40 millimeter. So they're not going to fit nicely into a 39 millimeter case. So keep that in mind. You're going to need 39 millimeter cases for Paulsons. And if you want to save some classic poker chips, in my experience, they fit best in the 40 millimeter airtight cases. Okay, so 39 millimeter, 40 millimeter. It depends on what kind of chip you're trying to store. And then there are two different types that I use regularly. Now, if you look closely at the edge here, it might be kind of hard to see, but you can see a difference. This is an airtight case. They're more expensive. My experience is they fit perfectly. I really like the airtight cases for my more expensive chips. And one thing that separates them from, I'm just going to call this a generic Amazon case, is these are smooth all the way across the face. I can just take my fingernail and slide all the way across the face. They're rounded on the edges. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see, but you can see a difference. And they seem more clear. I really like the airtight cases. But for just like chips, like here's a chip that, okay, so let me just show you the difference. So this one you can see there's a lip here. So when I run my fingernail across here, unlike the airtight case, there's a little lip here that my fingernail will catch. So is that going to change your opinion about the case? I don't know. These are very cheap. I'll put links to these from my Amazon Associate account. I am an Amazon Associate. I make proceeds from qualifying purchases. So if you visit those links down below, I make a small cut, a few pennies usually, from anything you purchase from those links. So this is just a different case. One thing that sets it apart though is these have this little thumb or little fingernail Is that going to show up? There's a little fingernail port right here that helps you pop this open. Can you see that? Is that showing up? So it's easy to put your fingernail in there and, you know, you can either twist your fingernail or just kind of pop it open and then you can get to your chip. So the Airtight doesn't have that. So it takes a lot of prying sometimes to get this apart. So like I said, if I'm just throwing in like a chip I just kind of want to preserve, but it doesn't really valuable, I'll throw them in these cheaper Amazon little, and you know, circular cases. They are cheaper. You can buy these, you know, huge stacks of them for not too much money, and they do an okay job preserving your chips. But I still will go out of my way to buy Airtight, the brand Airtight cases when I feel the need. And Numis cases. So these are my 3 cases that I turn to all the time. Not these. You can buy these bulk if you want to just staple your chips into something to kind of protect them. Not my preference, but that's an option. And Numis, Airtight, and just kind of the generic cases from Amazon. And of course, as usual, racks. You can get racks and racks of poker chips. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you have a special way you store your chips? I know lots of people like display cases. I haven't turned that route yet. Maybe in the future I will. Get some golf balls, get some poker chips, display them, but we'll see. I'm excited to read your comments and any input or thoughts you guys have about that, about this, or how you store chips. As usual, huge shout out to my patrons. Thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate it. And if you'd like to join us on Patreon, I post a few behind the scenes pictures, updates, just some things going on behind the scenes. Maybe, you know, a few times a month. It's just general support on Patreon. And you can also support this channel by visiting my Amazon shop. I'll put a link in the description below. I am an Amazon associate. I make proceeds from qualifying purchases, and you should see links to these cases on Amazon in the links below. Thank you everybody for watching. If you enjoyed this content, please subscribe.